The next piece we're going to get into is graphing inequalities. Now you've seen this before when you were in pre-algebra, but I know it's been a while, so we're going to review this. So we first got graph y is less than 3 and list 3 values that make it true. And when it comes to graphing, first we want to make sure that our inequality is just a variable less than or greater than or less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So variable, the inequality symbol, and a number or number symbol variable. And that's because then that way you can actually graph it when we talk about a number line for today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a number line with the solution in the middle. Some of you might be wondering, well, why do we set it up in the middle? Is so that way you can accurately graph it and see the movement of the graph. So I see that 3 is my solution because that's what's in the inequality. So then I number my number line, and I'm going to go every other just to keep it neat. Notice as we go to the left, we get more negative, and to the right, we get more positive. So then step 2 is open circle for less than or greater than, closed circle for less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. I like to use the analogy of this symbol being like a pool, and you'll understand in a minute, and the symbol underneath being your water supply. Now some of you are going, I don't get it. Well, let me explain. If you have a pool, in the case of here and here, but you do not have that water supply, in other words, you don't have the symbol underneath the inequality, you don't have any water to fill up your pool, so therefore it's going to be an open circle on your graph. Now if you have your pool, which is your inequality symbol, plus the equal to part underneath it, then you have a water supply, therefore you can fill up your pool, which means your dot will be filled in. Okay? So I see that my dot goes at 3, and I don't have a water supply here, so it's going to be an open circle at 3. Now, the next step is if the variable is less than or equal to, shade to the left, and if the variable is greater than or equal to, shade to the right. And the reason why we do this is because we're gonna shade so we can fill in our solutions, because our solutions is everything less than 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a highlighter to make my life easier, and I'm gonna shade to the left. Now you can make a note if you wish that as long as the variable's on the left and the numbers on the right, your inequality symbol can be treated like an arrowhead, and it points the way you want to shade. So in this case, shade to the left. Now if the numbers on the right are on the left and the variable's on the right, that doesn't work. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the next example. We have here to graph -5 is less than or equal to x. Oh, forgot, we have to go back here. We need to list 3 variables that make it true. And so the nice part is everywhere that is in this shading region on over to the left is a solution. Now 3 is not a solution because if you put 3 in there, this would say that 3 is less than 3, and that's not true. So that doesn't work, but I could pick 2, I could pick 1, I could put -50 for all I care. But as long as it's less than 3, it is a solution. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. -5 is less than or equal to x, and 3 values that make it true. So I see that -5 is my number that goes in the middle, and then I go -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, -7, -9, and -11. Now if you want to label every single one, great, go for it. I'm not going to. Now I see that my symbol here has the water supply, so I'm going to make a closed circle at -5. And then here's where it gets tricky. Because the variable's on the right, we cannot shade in the direction it points, so I like to check. So I pick a number on either side, and I say, well, after I get my highlighter, if I pick -3, -5 is less than or equal to -3, so that means that I'm going to shade this direction. Now if I had checked on the other side and I picked -6, -5 is not less than or equal to -6, because you don't want to be, it's a worse situation to be $6 in debt than 5. And so then I'm going to shade to the right. Now if I want to go ahead and pick some values that are solutions, I need to pick something that's under the highlighting. So I'm going to pick -4, I'm going to pick +1, and I'm going to pick 15. These are all numbers that I know -5 is less than.